Ian Duerr, and this is Waupaca Local Live.
All right, well, welcome to Waupaca Local Live. I'm Wes Powers, and as always, we got Marcy Boku here. And
how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm pretty good.
Awesome. So we have a very special guest with us, Ian Duerr, everybody. Woo! I just wanted to address the elephant in the room right away. Ian, you have a very famous local relative in the room. And who might that be?
Ron Reynolds.
Ron Reynolds. Not the answer I was expecting.
Oh, right. Marcy Boku.
Really? So Marcy is your...
It's my mom.
Mom, of course. And Marcy, of course, is host here, too. And
that's right.
so you're a local Waupacian. Is that kind of a correct way of putting it?
Waupaca-wanian.
Waupaca-wanian.
Yeah,
I don't know what the
Waupaca-wanian.
terminology is there.
Yeah.
Or Wautopian.
Wautopian?
Yeah.
I don't know if it's wrong.
Yeah, I don't know either. But so you grew up here, and then you moved to the big city kind of thing, and everything.
Milwaukee, yeah.
Milwaukee.
The big city.
Milwaukee?
Yeah, that was the big city.
Well, that's big for some of us, I guess, you know.
My sights, when you start real low, you work your way up.
Right.
You know.
You don't hop into the hot water right away, huh?
Not all of us, yeah.
Lukewarm. So tell us a little about yourself and growing up here in Waupaca.
Well, it was awesome in the respect of being exposed to nature and having that small town, American upbringing.
Yeah.
Like from so many novels that you read, like Huck Finn, basically.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good analogy for Ian.
Yeah.
Caused a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
Learned a lot of skills.
So you came from obviously a very talented music family, Marcy being one of them, and
yeah, it was great. Everybody played an instrument. The family band. Holidays, it's like a concert,
The jamboree on the holidays. Yeah. It's always got to be nice.
Great to be exposed to that and have people help you along, support you with that art form and just the arts in general.
Yeah. So we have a lot of family members in the audience tonight, and
huge audience.
Well, big for us, right?
Big for us, yes.
12 people, maybe.
Yeah, at least 12 people.
Baker's dozen.
A lot of family here. It's a big weekend for Ian.
That's right. I'm back in town to get married this weekend.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations.
My beautiful wife and I are already married, but this is the second installment of our ceremony.
Yeah.
So
you had.
she's pregnant, so I don't know if that baby's the baker's dozen. There's also another baby in the room, so.
A niece, yeah. So Ian, talk about where you went from here. You know, you grew up in Waupaca. You had a band in high school. What was the band called?
I don't think we ever officially had a
didn't really
name.
have a name. I
Some
think we
dinosaur
called you
dung
something.
or something.
No, I think we used to call you Hippie Spawn.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I think
that was
that's what
something
all
you
the
talked
people
about
talked
behind our
about.
backs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I think coming up with the name is part of the reason why we broke up. Because we couldn't decide on it.
couldn't agree.
And it was Leif Ramlow, Brian Ovenden, and Ian Krishak, all
I
local
know
guys.
Leif, yeah.
Yeah, so Leif was the singer, and Ian Krishak was a drummer, Brian Ovenden, bass player. I played lead guitar. And
So
Leif
what kind of
played guitar
music?
too.
What kind of music did you guys play?
Like classic rock,
Classic rock.
Hendrix, Led Zeppelin. And we tried to make up some stuff, but
Yeah. So after the band broke up or whatever, and you moved on, and did you pursue an education in music?
I did. It was one of the few avenues I had towards higher education because I sort of had no interest in any other field other than visual arts.
Yeah.
So.
And where did you attend?
I tried to get accepted to some schools, and none of them wanted me because of my low GPA. So I found this little private school that was more than happy to take me on and give me a handsome scholarship. But when I got there was like no other students in the music program. So I was basically I was the music program for the jazz department, which is since gone.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
It's gone now?
That's too bad. It's happening more and more everywhere.
Really?
It stinks.
Yeah.
But
I think they just got swallowed up by other schools in the Milwaukee area, and
Yeah.
kids probably going to UWM.
yeah.
But yeah, that was my step into the big city, going to college for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I remember when you were in college, though, you did a lot of listening to jazz, and you met some older jazz musicians and kind of worked with them quite a bit, I think.
yeah, there was a
There was a
guitar
piano guy
legend.
and a
I don't know if
guitar.
I think he's still around, Manti
Manti
Ellis.
Ellis.
He's probably in his 90s, and he was one of my most influential teachers. Some of the best lessons are ones where you never even pick up the instrument. So I would just go to his house and we wouldn't even play any music at all. We'd just talk.
Huh. Were there any other inspirations? I read somewhere that you liked Wes Montgomery.
Yeah, so when I went to college, I hadn't heard any jazz at all.
Yeah.
And I was going to school for jazz, so I had to catch up a lot. And,
Yeah.
Yeah.
because I play with my thumb and never used a pick, I gravitated towards Wes Montgomery, who also happens to be like one of the most virtuosic ear-playing guitar players in the jazz world. So he and I have a similar style, and I wasn't copying him because I didn't know that I was supposed to use a pick. I just played
Right.
naturally. And
Yeah.
so then I, like Hendrix before Wes, I basically became a self-sufficient Wes Montgomery cover band.
Right. Because Hendrix was kind of he played the guitar backwards.
Yeah,
so
it's
it's
sort of
kind
similar, like anti-establishment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Way to play. So you started out in guitar, and then you taught yourself piano. You never wanted to take piano lessons.
True. Never wanted to take piano lessons.
You never got lessons from your mom? Right?
Not
There was
really.
too much like system and the whole lesson aspect was too regimented for my personality type, so I
Yeah.
always resisted that.
Yeah.
The guitar is more of an instrument for people that are going out on it on their own,
Right.
which is why I chose it originally. But maybe I should have taken piano lessons all along. I don't know.
Maybe.
You should play a little bit more for us while
Yeah.
we're
Some
talking about piano. Play some piano. Whatever. What do you want to play
Yeah,
another song?
I mean, that last song was called "Rosie Rosie," which is
Really?
written for my grandma.
Aww.
And that was an original?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the jazz realm, you don't necessarily need to write your own music to have your own voice,
Yeah.
because every song you play is interpreted by you. You can reharmonize it in the middle of the song. You're improvising 90% of what's going on other than the form.
Really?
Yeah, so if I play a jazz standard, I can still consider it to be original in some aspect because nobody's ever played it like that before.
Yeah.
So if I play like... like I'm copying a little bit of Art Tatum, but body and soul.
So you can mix various artists with one song or...
Yeah, you can mix artists, everything you hear. So when I started listening to jazz, I realized that I had to have 100 versions of every song in order to really learn the song. And maybe that song is recorded in 5 different keys, sung with a singer or a sax player as the lead instrument. And the originals are all the jazz standards originally were written for, Broadway. So they're not like, they have words and everything. If you really want to learn the song, you have to learn the lyrics, which is somewhere where I should probably...
Are you much of a singer?
I can do some fake crooning, but like, my grandpa's a good singer.
Yeah, is
my mom
he
sings
in the audience here?
He is.
Yeah?
Their favorite song is this old standard. What's it called, Grandma?
What's Grandpa's favorite
All
song?
old people love this song.
Yeah. Almost sounds like All in the Family, kind of with the... That's what...
The style that he's playing with the bass chord, right?
Yeah, it looks like you're just slapping the keys,
Just
but it's so
slapping.
beautiful, listening to it.
Yeah, the
Just like,
piano is like, you can see everything on the piano. It's all laid out for you. So there's no, like, on the guitar, you gotta, like, figure out where direction is up.
Yeah,
Up is this way, actually.
yep.
So,
The higher you get.
well, you
on
think
the fret.
up is this way, or at least that way, but no, it's like, but on the piano, it's like, up is this way. It's obvious,
Right.
Huh. So Ian, you said it looks like he's slapping the keys. He has a very different technique.
Yeah.
I teach piano lessons, and the first thing you do
Here we go.
is you have curved fingers and playing your fingertips,
Yeah.
and Ian does not play like that. And it's
No.
amazing to watch him play because
Yeah.
it's so different than the way piano teachers want the kids to play.
it's wrong. Yeah, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm playing completely by ear, and there's a lot of the classic method in jazz is like an apprenticeship that you learn from somebody directly by ear. So most of the classic big band music, there was no written music for that. All of the music from Dixieland, it's just all by ear. You teach someone by word of mouth, basically. So in that respect, I'm learning in the traditional method of jazz.
Cool.
But there are a lot of setbacks to that.
Yeah.
Play another song. Play one of your other. Play that Murdy song. What was that Murdy song?
Murdy.
Yeah. One of our really good family friends, his wife died. And so Ian wrote this song for her.
I'm just like improvising an intro right now. Remember how it goes. Can't remember it.
Play something else.
Well, that was a beautiful song. I'm not going to play it now because I can't remember. But I will play this song.
Okay.
I started it out with Stormy Weather and then changed it to Easy Street.
Easy Street.
Yeah.
So I know that you write all the music out. You're not much for reading music, but you play in trios and quartets where you write everything out for all the players. So how the heck does your brain work?
Well, I went to college for music, so I do know all about jazz theory and classical theory, so I'm able to transpose from my brain, or transcribe rather. So I have music going on in my brain that I can transcribe onto paper for other people to read. But I can't read the music off of paper.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's weird.
Makes total sense.
Yeah, I think it's greatly in part to just being lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when you're sitting at your instrument trying to learn, you find yourself at a crossroads. It's like, do I sit here and do this right, or do I do it the easy way?
Or do it the fun way.
Or the fun way, sure. And I guess the fun and easy way just always won out for me.
So Marcy mentioned that you do duos and quartets. Do you, who are the people that you play with?
Well, I live in Brooklyn, New York, and there's, oddly enough, the jazz scene is pretty small in New York City, so there's probably like 50 circles of people, and I probably know someone from every circle, so that's 1 degree away from everyone. But I do compose for quintet exclusively as the composition tool, but you could, bring those down to less than a quintet if you just isolate the melody, or you can always add another harmony part, so sextet or something. But essentially, if you have a music chart, you can make a lead sheet. So you could play it solo piano, you could play a duo, but with all the different composed parts, that's the actual composition. So there's different harmonies.
And you play piano primarily for your regular gig, right?
I play solo piano 3 nights a week, yeah.
Right.
But for the art gig, it's I play piano as well.
Okay. But you also play guitar is what I'm getting at. And you play
so I went to
bass.
school for jazz guitar, but I sort of got burned out on it, I suppose you could say, and it's a lot of stuff to carry around, so I prefer to play a gig where there's just a piano on site.
Oh.
Yeah. And I never take a keyboard to a gig. If there's no instrument there, then I take my guitar.
And you play stand-up bass too?
That's just a joke hobby. I have a fake pair of glasses that I wear when I play it. And sort of take on another persona. That's common in the jazz world. All the musicians, a lot of musicians I know play multiple instruments, and there's this one famous jazz pianist who plays the accordion and has like a false identity. And
that's hilarious. Yeah. I didn't realize that.
I read also that you played at Carnival Cruise Line.
Oh, right. Yeah, so that was really my segue into adulthood. After college, I was still left like on a national level, basically really bad at playing music.
Yeah. So did you put him on a ship out in the middle of the ocean?
I was working at Starbucks, and I took a trip to Europe and never wanted to work at Starbucks again after that. So I was there for like a month, and opportunity just came along. Somebody's piano player quit because the band was really bad, and he didn't want to work with them. But I just jumped right in, and it was great.
But you keep pretty busy in New York with your gigs and everything, and
yeah, New York City's one of the few places in the country where musicians of all levels can work on a regular basis.
That's cool.
I think New Orleans is another place. And,
we actually had a question regarding that from an audience member. Tom Hart wanted to know, what kind of advice would you give someone who starts off like you did in a small town and want to, get out there into a bigger city?
It's hard to say because I definitely am not the most outgoing type of person, which I think is an important thing for anyone to have who wants to get out of their hometown.
Yeah.
But just to be able to take opportunities when they are in front of you is something that everybody should be able to do. And if you want to do an art form, you should just spend a million hours practicing it.
And that shouldn't be too hard if it's something you love to do.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
it's like, it's leisure, it's fun, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you want to play another one, or?
Sure. I try to think of another song here.
So,
I guess I could.
okay. That's great. What was the name of that one?
Bacchusphere.
Bacchusphere?
You want to explain that?
Well, I play a lot with different musicians, and there's a guy I draw a lot of inspiration from people, events, and emotions. And if I write a song because I'm thinking about somebody, then I usually try to name it after them. So my friend Chris Bacchus happened to be the target of that title.
Bacchus Fair. Does he know that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably feels weird about it.
Cool. So I was gonna just say if you could mention any of your coolest gigs that were like real big city that would exemplify what it's like to live in New York and play a gig there. I know you've had some interesting, crazy gigs, but does anything stand out?
After a while, it's just another gig, but it's cool to play on the top of buildings, you know, and where everybody's wearing tuxedos, and to play like famous pianos is really fun.
Did you ever play Cole Porter's piano?
I think I played Cole Porter's piano, and
That's cool.
Who's Cole Porter?
one of
He is
the
one of
great
the-
jazz composers.
That's okay.
Oh, jeez, come on.
It's okay.
It's all right. He wrote so many famous songs that you never would have known or heard, maybe.
Yeah, he's from another era.
Oh.
Really.
Some of my favorite gigs that are just playing out in Central Park
Yeah.
for tips.
That's actually the first video I saw of you and 3 other guys.
Yeah, I should probably try to get those off of YouTube.
You've actually had a couple famous people walk by
Yeah.
Central Park, right?
Paul McCartney gave us $5. Keith Jarrett gave us $5. I think famous people are given wads of fives because they always give $5.
That's
Never
funny.
50.
Never 50.
Nah, that's too bad.
So you play a lot of weddings, cocktail
Weddings,
parties?
cocktail parties, yeah.
Will you be playing your wedding or?
No, I will not be playing at my wedding.
You hired a musician.
Yeah, a friend of mine from Brooklyn who happens to live in Milwaukee now. Yeah.
Well, anything else? Any audience has any questions for Ian? Probably not. They're all just happy to hear you play. Anybody?
You got a guy.
When he has time to listen to music, what does he listen to?
Okay. What do you
It's
listen
funny,
to?
I actually don't like music.
It's overrated.
Yeah, I think I've just played so much music and I've listened to so much music that I just want it to be quiet, which is also hard because it's, Brooklyn is really loud.
Right.
But if I do listen to music, it's strictly for the purpose of learning. So it's like a part of the job to listen to music for me.
That's funny.
And I do often have to listen to stuff, but if I do it, sometimes if I'm cleaning, I'll put on some Art Tatum or Ben Webster, Oscar Peterson, and then get frustrated.
Those are cruise ships?
Do you miss the cruise ships?
Yeah, the cruise ships were a great place to work. You get a steady paycheck, meals, traveling, and you only have to work like 3 hours a day. So, and the best part about the cruise ships, there's like 16 grand pianos that are in empty rooms for you to practice on all day long. So.
Yeah, that's kind of where you honed your piano, right?
Yeah, I learned to play the piano in about 6 months.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Just out of necessity.
That can be inspirational for any adult learners that are out there who are trying to learn the piano as an adult. It can be done.
Or
Yeah, but don't get your hopes up, I think. I think I might have had some talent.
Yeah.
But maybe, if you're
Right.
forced into a job where you have to play the piano 6 nights a week, all you have is time. It's possible.
Yeah. But I think, there's a myth that if you don't start when you're a kid, you can't
That's
do it,
true.
and that's not true.
Yeah, if you've
Yeah.
already got some talent,
Yeah.
there's nothing that can hold you back except for
That's right.
your misconception of time.
Right.
Yeah.
All right, you want to take us out with another song, and then we'll be
Sure.
Wrap this
Wrap
up.
this up.
Okay.
Ian Duerr on piano.
Well, I wanted to thank Ian Duerr, of course. And wanted to thank you, merci beaucoup.
And I thank you, Wes.
And Chris and Mark and Josh and Wayne, the guys behind the cameras and crew, and our audience. And
Good audience tonight.
And you want to do your little...
Oh, the plastic thing is
thing.
really taking off. I think people are starting to understand that we don't need straws. So remember, when you order your drink, tell them you don't want a straw.
There you go.
There you go.
Thanks for joining
Simple
us
as
on
that.
Waupaca Local Live.
Cool.
Thanks, man.